Welcome to the Up and Comers Show. This is a podcast all about learning how to live a good life. And we do that by having intention in the tension. Dun, dun, dun. Shocking news. Newsflash. Life is full of tension.
Yeah, I think we need some reminders of that, though.
Okay, well, that's what this show's all about, reminding us. I mean, it's more for us than for you listening, so you're welcome.
Yep, I'm just glad to be able to talk to you, Thane. It's been a while.
Dude, I
We
know.
need to catch up.
It is. Bro chats. Bro chats over a mic. I mean, a bro chat over a phone is cool, but over a mic, it literally is 10 times cooler.
Yeah, and my face right now is a monkey because I'm on my iPad FaceTiming you, and I've got this, for everyone who just can't see this, I've got the new iPad that does the facial recognition, kind of like iPhone 10, and so on FaceTime, it'll actually let me be a monkey. See, hang on. Oh, there we go.
The best part about it
could
is
see
when
that.
he's in front of the mic, it doesn't pop up,
You
which is
can't
great
see
for
it.
me because I get really annoyed. Oh, he just put on a pig. Oh my
I'm a
gosh.
pig.
This guy. We should make speaking of oh my gosh, you guys. Speaking of a video podcast,
awesome.
there'll be something
Yeah.
in the news on that in the coming months, so stay tuned. That's a little teaser for you.
Oh, dang. Teasing me.
That's a teaser you don't even know, bro.
So I do have something I do know, and that is we have a new 5-star review.
Oh, snap, crackle,
Yeah.
pop. You want
I
to
know.
do the honors here?
Oh, definitely. Let me see. Let me pull up my...
I'm going to eat some dark chocolate while you talk.
Okay, I pull up my media station here. All right, this one is called My New Go-To. It's awesome. And the name is the KTB 56728.
I wonder what the
Is
number
that like a
means.
zip code?
Yeah, maybe. Google
Like
that
a Midwest
if you're
zip
listening.
code. It's Midwest. It's got to be. So, because California's 9 and we're 3, so 5 is somewhere between 9 and 3.
Yeah, mine was 6-7.
Oh, so it's like
502, so.
sounds like it's east of Kansas. That's what I'm gonna go with. I'm going with like Missouri.
Nice. I think you're right.
All right. Yeah. So that would be awesome if I am. All right. Here's the review from the KTB. Grateful to have found this God-honoring and captivating podcast. I've been genuinely inspired by each of the episodes I've listened to so far, filled with beautiful testimonies of a dynamic group of guests. Excited to continue to listen as this show continues to grow. Exclamation mark.
Well, cheers to you, KTB. And you know what's sad about that? When I hear that, I say, please don't keep listening because they're only going to get worse the further back you get.
That's awesome. Yeah, just stay relevant. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just stay with
No,
the
that's
more
cool.
recent.
It's she says that listen to the show as it continues to grow, and man, I don't even know where the show's headed, but
God
it's
knows.
growing for sure. And I'm just as interested as the KTB is to find out where it goes. For sure.
Cheers. Same. You know, I think we all are. We're all sitting on the edge of our seats right now, but more accurately, I'm standing on the edge of my standing mat. So just had to throw that in there.
I am on the edge of my seat though. I'm leaning into the mic, as it were, so that it captures my crystal clear vocals for all of our listening audience.
Yeah, I know.
It's important,
I'm
dude.
Just,
It's very
I'm glad
important.
they can't see the pig face because that would throw this conversation.
Man, that would
for
make
a
it
wrench.
so good though, because everybody thinks I'm probably like this smug guy who's talking into a microphone, and it's the opposite.
Well, if you are tuning in, thank you for listening. We do have a couple housekeeping things to just remind you of. The ratings and review that you just heard is probably the best, easiest way for you to help out by dropping us a comment, dropping us a rating. We don't, like everyone just rating everything we do in life, but when it comes to podcasts, I'd take a 5-star. If you throw a 4, at least tell us why you said 4 instead of 5. That'd be cool too. And then send us an email, theupandcomershow@gmail.com. If you got any questions that you want Adam and I to discuss, or if you want to just say hi, say hello through that. And then on the socials at Up and Comers Show is Instagram, Twitter, and I think Facebook too. So bottom line is we out here, as they say.
We are. Yep. We out here, and I thank you guys for joining us, and I don't want to delay any longer because I have something very important to tell Thane and to discuss with him. And I hope you guys think it's interesting because I really don't care. I'm going to say it to Thane, and it just so happens you guys are listening. So I just hope it turns out good for you guys is my point. Anyway, I mean, I care about you guys, but I'm not going to censor myself. I mean, I need to tell you about this, okay?
He's holding
here
a
it is.
brown leather book right now.
Yep. It's a brown leather sort of book with my name at the bottom.
Yeah,
see this?
fancy.
My name was etched into the bottom with as from a leathersmith guy. The back is his logo right here. Chris Davis at Davis Leatherworks. He was on Etsy. Rip Chris on Etsy because he no longer makes leather material, apparently. I tried to get another one of these. But this is a, if you see what's inside here?
Notebook?
Yeah, it is a field notes notebook.
Yeah,
actually
you love
a
those.
moleskin. Dude, I love them.
Yeah.
And it's actually a moleskin, but it's very similar. They come in packs of 3. Here's 2 more of these little moleskin notebooks. And anyway, so this leather goes around it as like this, and they're refillable, so you just flop it out. And I saw this like years ago where they make wallets out of this now, where there's also card slots in this little leather case. And so I got inspired recently, and I don't know if you can see this, but I stuck 2 of those little sticky wallets that go on the back of your phone to the back of this leather, and it sticks really good. And now I got a couple cards back there, and so this is my wallet now.
Wow.
And I think, so it's kind of random and weird, but the reason I'm telling you this is because this is like the idea and the symbol of my new push recently. So let me tell you about this push I'm making.
I'm all ears.
I'm leaning into at a steep angle. I'm leaning into the reality of I hate digital things. Now, I love digital things, but dude, I am so burnt out on my cell phone. I've got an iPhone, I've got an iPad, I got a MacBook, I got a work computer, and I got TVs at work. And so part of what I do is stay with the media because I'm a financial advisor, so I got to know what they're saying. And I think I get so burned out by it that now I have recently revamped an old typewriter my dad gave me a long time ago that like his dad gave him. And so I got that typewriter back out, and I got my pens back out and the paper. I used to get all into that pens and paper and stuff. And just the tangible things of study and of kind of character building, tools for character building, if you will. And I've started reading regular books again. And so this was all like a sort of recent thing because I don't have anything against technology. I love technology, like SpongeBob, but
hence the pig face before.
Yeah, exactly. Rainbow above my head. But there is a significant way it's impacting us, and I think what I crave when I sat down at the beginning of this year and started thinking about the life I'm going to live. I live in the South, and I have a set of values now that have changed over time. And so, for example, I'd rather get a camper and go camp out in the woods for like a week as vacation than go to downtown Atlanta or downtown Jacksonville and stay in some high rise and go to some shows. And I like both. Okay. I'm not saying I couldn't do either, but at this point I am thirsting for that balance.
And that's
I'm
novel.
thirsting for,
That's the novelty, right? Those things are novel because we never get them.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
kind of funny.
And I just never get out in nature anymore. I don't hunt. I don't hike like I used to. So, actually, Faith and I are looking at buying a camper right now. So that's another part of this conversation. But I want to go off the grid with one. Solar, like carry your water in there, everything.
Yes.
So that's another conversation. But recently, as of the first of the year, I was like, man, if I could do anything with my life. If this was my last year to live, how would I do it? And the thing that I came away with was a list of priorities, and you and I have been talking about that. But one of the things I haven't told you is just the renewed sense of urgency I have with the written word in a tangible way. I realized that I would not blog more because I'm just being honest with you, okay? I don't know why this is the way that it
Yeah.
is. I'm just telling you the way that it is. I can't stand my blog anymore. I literally can't stand it. I look at adamsetzer.com and I'm like, this is so boring. And it shows. I mean, I posted like 3 times last year. And so there's something's clearly broken, right? I mean, I enjoy writing, but why is it that I don't get inspired to write anymore? And I put a finger on it that it's the medium as much as it is the message, because I fundamentally think that a blog is the most sad way of publishing in the world, because you pay to put it up there. It's self-publishing. It's no accountability. No one's telling you it's good or bad, right? And so I realized what I want in writing is just to get away from the blog. And yeah, let the blog be the blog and just write crap on there, but push for 2 things, okay? And here's the big idea. One, I would love to get published, actually be published by a guardian of, a gatekeeper of this society, someone who, they have standards and I need to meet those standards and I have to be better in order to do that. So maybe I'm going to publish a book, or work on that. Maybe I'm going to publish articles under another journal, whether not academic, but magazine or, something like that gives significance to my words, and that inspires me, and that's what gets me out of bed. So I'm going to start working on bigger things. I'll blog in the meantime, but I think all of that structure I just told you sets free my blog to probably be fun again, because I can just write whatever I want to. And I think this conversation is actually helpful for our people too listening, because this is me thinking through, right, this whole
processing,
thing. Yeah. So the blog, I think, it's set free now to be the overflow of my thoughts, as long as I have the main keystone discipline that is that's challenging enough for me, right? That would get me excited. So traditional publishing is the first idea, but here's the big one. Okay, are you ready for this?
I don't
know. You gotta have your seatbelt on.
You've had a lot of big ones here, so this one must be massive.
This is the granddaddy of them all.
Wow.
And so beyond typewriter, beyond pencils, I've also gotten to pencils recently and like sharpening them and getting different types of pencils.
Do you have a
There's
favorite
a whole thing
so far?
on that line too. Yeah. So the world's best pencil by Ticonderoga is a sham. It's not actually the world's best pencil. It's like Elf.
Oh, that's good.
And the world's best cup of coffee.
Yeah.
No, they're fine, but nothing special. Field Notes makes a pencil that's really good. But the way I've actually got a couple of them on order I hadn't got yet. I'm super excited about. But one of them, probably the best pencil ever, is made by Mitsubishi. Which is kind of interesting.
That is interesting. That's one thing. Side note, that's one thing that I've always loved about you, Adam, is that when it comes to finding like fine wine in any category, like you're a very dependable source, because you love finding the best in any category. And I can always count on you for doing due diligence and justice to the research and the quality inspection. So I appreciate that about you.
Dude, I appreciate that, man. That's something I aspire to. I just can't handle crap, and so I also just enjoy the finer things. I want to know, dude. So there's people out there who actually spend their whole lives, developing the ideal pencil. Well, it's probably worth something. I should look into that. So there's one company called Blackwing, and they're one of the most popular old pencils. They went out of business, came back into business, and they have a square eraser on the back end. You've probably seen them on Instagram or something. But they're like Field Notes in that they do quarterly new limited editions, and you can sign up to get those. So every pencil is different and all that crap.
They have they even have that, like those types of clubs for olive oil. I remember hearing like olive oil clubs. And
I'm sure something for everything.
Dude,
I would be the guy to start one of them clubs for typewriters.
I'm actually really curious. I think olive oil would be fun to kind of experiment with, because it could get pretty insane, I'm sure.
Yeah, my mom read about that. There's like a mafia around olive oil in Italy. It's a mess. Anyway, so to get back on track, the
second thing, the granddaddy,
the big granddaddy of them all, the big Bertha idea, which I gave birth to about 2 days ago, was with Faith's help. She supervised that whole birthing, and she also helped. So let me just get to it. It is that, dude. So what? I love the publishing idea and all that, but part of me was like, you know what? I mean, what if I do want to just send my thoughts to people? You know, in what world do you do that, and how is it done? And then I thought snail mail. So
Yes.
I love getting mail. So I've got this idea now that what we're going to do is develop a sort of brand for it, which I already have developed that. But and I'm going to reach out to my newsletter people, and I'm going to say, hey, I haven't emailed y'all in like a year. And kind of here's why. Basically, I don't get excited about the medium. Just creating an email. Are you serious? Lost in the void, you know? So I'm going to create a handwritten letter or hand typed. That's kind of the typewriter thing. So that is custom tailored to cutting through the BS. It's very short. The whole goal and the whole vibe is that, you know, before you get to your phone, before you do anything, you have this letter that is building on an idea or quote from history that we've long forgotten, but by no reason deserves to be forgotten, and then applying it to our lives now a little bit just to kind of show the connection. One example of that would be there are millions of things that have been said that are worthwhile, right, that we'll never know about. And one of those is William Faulkner's Nobel Peace Prize acceptance speech. Have you heard that speech?
I haven't, but I feel like I should.
Yeah, and it's not something you just like Google, right? But number one, I'm sure every acceptance speech is probably worth listening to some degree. But Faulkner's is particularly good and poignant for our time. And, you know, it's a short little manuscript. I'll put that thing in there, hand type it, add a little commentary to it, and send it out. And then the title is going to be like notes from, and then fill in the blanks, like notes from Faulkner, notes from C.S. Lewis, notes from Tolkien, you know, whoever has that. And then let everything be, when you grab it, you know, you'll come away with a renewed sense of joy or perspective, like a positive insight that, you know, so you know how you'll feel after you read it, you know what you're getting into, and it's hand tailored for that. And it's no more work. It's probably less work for me than a newsletter. So anyway, that was kind of my thoughts.
What are the biggest obstacles or limitations in your mind as you're thinking through this? Because, I mean, there's a ton of great ideas out there, and that's a great idea, I think. But putting that idea to action is always hard. So, like, in your mind in this early process, what are the obstacles that you still haven't solved or that you're working on solving right now in that kind of idea vein?
I've solved them all, so we'd have to go back in time.
Cool, great.
Yeah, I'm ready. So one obstacle was how are we going to afford 50-cent stamps if we have like 100 subscribers? And I'm just going to charge them all the stamps. So if it's $2 a month, that's $1 a month. So that's that. The second thing is, what if they want to reply to us? We don't want to put our physical address as a return address. So we opened up a P.O. box this weekend at the post office, which is like $80 a year. So that P.O. box will be that address. And then, so where are we going to get inspiration for it? Like, that was a big thing. That's not a problem for me. I've got, that'll be easy. And then the other thing is, what will we brand it? How will we tell the story? I mean, it's not just a handwritten or hand-done letter. And I think that's where I got the notes from idea, and we'll call it the notes circular. Like they used to call old like pamphlets like circulars, you know. And the reason is it's kind of tied into the old vein of Russian novelist Dostoevsky wrote a book called Notes from Underground. And his point in that book was sort of a view of reality and life from the underground perspective, right? That perspective. And then a modern author, Christian guy, N.D. Wilson, he wrote a book called Notes from the Tilt-A-Whirl. And his point is that the universe and the earth is more like a tilt-a-whirl than not. We're all spinning around, and it's chaos, but it's not chaos. And just kind of use the image of the infinite universe juxtaposed to a carnival ride tilt-a-whirl shows also just the absurdity of our world, that you could actually have a carnival with a clown who's goofy and an idiot live in a world that is so perfectly run by an infinite consciousness that's like, you know what I mean? It's like sublime to think about that. So in the same way, here's notes kind of centered on that theme of gaining new perspective of your world, and with majorly a historical emphasis or a best of the best emphasis. Like, hey, we're looking at there's not going to be one note I send out that's going to be just me saying something. You know what I mean? So
what's the on the research side, have you seen other people do similar things at all, or is it kind of
nice. I looked into it a little bit, and I need to do more. That's one thing I told Faith. That's the next. It's not an obstacle, but that would be a helper for sure. And there are some people who have done that in the past, but I hadn't found anybody who's done it recently as a flee from technology. And I'm sure, again, there is. It's just that typically when people think of mail, they think of handouts or flyers or ads or something like that. So I don't know. That's a good question.
It's interesting. I love it, dude. That's super exciting. I think.
I mean, it may crash and burn, but you know what I mean? That's
dude,
okay.
I love it. I mean, that's a great thing too. I mean, if it crashes and burn, then you learned, and like, great. Like, you got to have an idea, you believed in it, and you saw it through, and you learned whether or not it ends up being what you initially thought it will be. And chances are it won't, because we never know the future, and you don't know until you actually do it. So that's amazing, dude. I think, well, dude, a few things just to comment on. One, have you heard of the difference between H and F reading style or reading forms?
No.
I literally just heard about this morning at church. Someone brought it up, but it made a lot of sense on the difference between reading a book versus reading web, and why reading web we're not as prone to actually learn anything. Because it's following the F's format of reading versus an H in a sense. So really fascinating how that works. And I'm interested to look more into that, because it's such a big thing, and that's why perennially I really don't like reading anything on the internet. Like, I hate reading articles and websites, and even like newsletters that I get. I sometimes get frustrated reading those just because it's different. I love the book of just flipping pages and kind of getting through it in a certain manner and flow, and it's starting to make more sense why, because that got brought up. But I think that shows even in the letter the difference and the ability for it, and it just having something tangible gives it immediately more value than on a screen, just period. Now there's other like factors like social proof and other constructs that we put value onto it from, and of course that weights it differently. But dude, just having that tangible thing you hold is gonna make it actually sink in way more. So I think you're spot on that.
Yeah, I think I could improve this idea by maybe rebranding it or something, or just letting that brand evolve. Because I think what I have makes sense to me, but I don't know if it's transferable. I need to like have a test group or something, which to me is just starting it, and that's my test group. Like, hey, what do you guys think? But maybe over time it can develop I just want a very strong, clear brand. Yeah. And maybe that it all started with these sort of simple thoughts, but it may end up becoming needing to be something different. Because at the end of the day, my simple thought was, here I am tweaking this website, my blog, for example, trying to make sure it looks the same on every platform, and that the typeface is right and all this stuff. And it's just so frustrating. And if you send out something in paper, you know exactly what it's going to look like. And when I see something that's worthwhile, I print it. First thing I do when I'm at work or anywhere else. And then when I print it, it's physical. I mark it up, and that takes on a whole new life,
Yeah,
so
which makes me appreciate it. Yeah, I love that about you. I mean, I remember you said that this last week with what we were working on, and that was just like super cool, that you printed that off. I was like, yeah, that's legit. And I've been finding the same thing too. Like, I've been doing a lot more journaling this last week or two, and it's been super refreshing. It's funny, we know these things, but until we do them, we're like, oh yeah, that's right, And I think like we talked about before. By the way, side note, I keep burping because I'm drinking seltzer water, and it's just the worst. I don't know why I drink seltzer water like during a
like
podcast.
kombucha.
You
It'll
always
mess you
have to
up.
burp. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's something about the slowness of writing physically that really brings more clarity, and it's just that patient flow that natural writing brings that you can't replicate on a computer. And there's something to be said for acting in opposition to efficiency. There really is.
Oh, yeah.
There really
Absolutely.
is.
I'm going to hand stuff them letters. I'm going to hand stamp them, and we're going to send out, I've got like 150 people on my newsletter list, I think. Let's say 20 of them, choose to participate. That's 20 letters I'm sending twice a month or whatever it is. But
the big
me
question
and Faith couldn't be
is,
more excited about that.
Yeah,
we would love it.
The big question is, are you going to physically type everyone, or are you going to type one and copy?
No one will ever know. I'm definitely not physically typing everyone.
Oh, man.
But
I
think
know.
starting, I was going to do
I put you on the
handwritten
spot
whole
there. I
thing.
feel bad now.
No, I was absolutely going to let them know that because, come on. I have a real job. But I was going to handwrite it and then just copy my writing. But my writing isn't super good, and I don't know. But I had that, that typewriter sitting there, and I just it when you type on a typewriter, every letter is a little different depending on your weighting, and it can be have significant variations across a page, and it just looks like poetry. It's like, man, that's cool.
That is
so.
Cool.
I think that's what we'll do.
Dude, I would say go that route for sure. I mean, that's super unique, and I would agree. Your handwriting is half legible sometimes, so that'd be an obstacle for sure.
Yeah, some people may just sort of be an obstacle, but my dream, again, the motivation for this thing, which I'm so excited about, is just sheer. This is what I would want. When I sat down and I said, man, what am I looking for this year? I wish someone smarter than me would send me a letter every week that was no BS, short to the point, just with the help that it brings. And I know exactly what it would look and smell like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, hey, if I like it, someone else might.
Dude, no, it's 100% it. It's like the itch you can't help but scratching because no one else is scratching it. So I'm going to dadgum scratch that itch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Shoot, and that's
and I kind of like it. Like you're saying, it's a forced simplicity.
Yeah.
And there's two reasons I like that. One, because I realize that in all of my reading and researching and study, I learned the most things when I went the slowest and when I had the most obstacles. When I can just screenshot stuff and throw it into my Evernote and never see it again, I will never remember it's even there. Whereas if I took hand notes and then transcribed them in somewhere and then saved the hand notes somewhere and kind of ran across it a couple times, then you're absolutely going to remember it. And so I realize how dumb I am and how dumb I am to think that I'm smart enough to remember crap that just flies across a screen. It just doesn't happen.
Totally.
So that was a huge part of that. And then the benefit that I've received from printing something out, like your pamphlet, for example, going in my study that doesn't have any technology in it, and then sitting down with that thing. My brain, it takes your brain like a good 30, 45 minutes to get onto a task deeply. And if something interrupts that, it takes the same amount of time to get back into it, And so here's the thing. I genuinely think that the vast majority of our population has never actually been there.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
From birth to now have never been there.
Especially like from our generation down.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's such a massive problem, such a massive issue that is going to cause insane amounts of ramifications in society at large. So I think it's something that can't be overstated. And the question is, how can we be intentional on not just doing it for ourselves, but influencing and encouraging others to take ownership of their minds, their thoughts, and their lives, because it's not going to happen by chance. It really isn't.
Yeah.
And that's where you see, I mean, I've been doing workshops on self-awareness because that's a big piece of it too, is like, you don't know who you are and how you're wired if you never have the space to actually self-reflect, to meditate, to journal, to examine, to actually see why you're thinking the way you're thinking or doing the things you're doing, because it's addictive cycles that we have to kick ourselves out of. And dude, that's where like there's several ideas I have, like big vision ideas that I think it's basically how can we curate wellness and discipline into society at large so that it becomes natural and the norm versus the way society at large is operating now, which is the complete opposite. It's self-indulgence, not self-discipline. And so if we can use social proof by getting a large enough community of people doing this to help us make the decisions that we truly want to make, whether or not we feel inclined to in the moment, just as much as if you're at a crosswalk and the light is red, but then you see like 5 people go and walk across the street, you're going to walk across the street just because that's social proof power. And if we can use that for good, just as much as like a placebo effect, how can we use these things for our benefit and not necessarily our detriment? Because all of society, not all, but the majority of society and the majority of business and companies are trying to leverage our weaknesses. And so I think you're hitting on a huge point here. And I mean, this is a longer conversation, and I'd love to chat about some of the ideas more, but I'm stoked for you, dude. I think like you mentioned too, having the blog be a training ground is a great place just to get reps, which gives you the freedom of like, of creativity and authenticity that having, trying to protect a blog more and like our niche or our themes or our genre or even our voice, it hurts our production and creativity. I experienced that even with mine some. So
I want my voice and everything, my vibe, I want it to be what Adam thinks is hilariously fun and awesome that moment. And that's it. Just go for it. Follow the joy, and you will do something that's worthwhile, you know?
Yeah.
So that's awesome. And I think the other thing is I kind of like giving a middle finger to the industry.
Yeah.
And the online, surging for views and crap. And I don't get involved in that. I'm not like backlashing. I'm just simply looking at my life and going, man, I'm kind of a curmudgeon about it and being like, I just want to send stuff in the mail.
Yeah, dude.
I don't care how many people read it, but
epic. I love it. Well, we'll have another conversation about this as it progresses.
You better sign up for this thing,
dude. I'm in. I'm opting in. $1 a month. Count me in. I'll send you $1.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think what was it called? The Notes Circular. Yeah. What do you think about that? You think it's kind of like an old-timey cool title, or is it like nah?
Like the title would be The Notes Circular.
Yeah, because and like do different font or something, because in every week it's gonna say the notes or like notes from a name or notes on a topic. So like notes, I think, is sort of central to that. So you could just say Notes Circular or
I'm not loving circular, but I like the concept. I like the idea.
I like it. It's old-timey.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it could change because people aren't going to understand what that is. But
you're on the right track. I'll give you that. So,
I said, though, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start it and name it whatever the crap I want and then change it after I go because it's just about starting.
Amen. You're preaching the good word. I love it. Well, bro, we got to sign off, but thanks for sharing. I'm excited for the granddaddy. I can't wait to get my first Adam letter in the mail. If you're listening to this, definitely go to the show notes at theupandcomershow.com. And this episode will be titled, what are we titling this? Is this Notes Circular? Is that what it's titled?
Yeah, let's do it. That's my baby idea. We're going with it.
Okay, so theupandcomershow.com/episodes/notes. And you can find, we'll put some links in there once he gets this thing going. And, definitely sign up because you're not going to want to miss some weekly goodness from the Adam Setzer.
Yeah, well, by the way, I don't have anything online about this yet, so just give me a little while to check back at adamsetzer.com and there'll be something.
Done. So I'll put a link to your blog, which is, just epic. Even though Adam talked it down, you should go check it out. So
yeah, so when does this thing publish, this episode?
Wednesday, yeah. It's going down.
I think by then, I probably will have a splash page up, and he'll put the link there. It'll probably be like adamsetzer.com/notes or something.
Epic. Done.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Sweet.
Go hit that link now. But until then, brother, it's been fun. We'll talk soon, and excited to see how this develops. And for all you listening, we hope you have an up and coming week.